the 2K Sports pregame show.
That's right, it's here, the official start of the new NBA season. I'm Ernie Johnson, excited to be here once again with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith for another go-around. Tonight, we'll see the Los Angeles Clippers as they play against the Detroit Pistons. Looking at the Pistons, they haven't forgotten the fact that this team swept them last year in the regular season. This is a game they had circled going in. We'll be watching Pau Gasol in this one. He's done it all and done it well for so long now. Seems like Shaq, he hasn't really slowed up.
You know, I owe this guy an apology because he was up there in age. I thought he was probably done. But he put up a career high last year, 46 points versus the Bucks. He also had his
Hello, everyone. Get ready for NBA action live on 2K Sports. Joined in the booth with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony, this is Kevin Harlan. It's a single-game return to Los Angeles for the Clippers as they look for a boost from their home crowd. And this is their first time matched up with the Pistons this year. In the two meetings last year, they came away with wins, never losing.
Yeah, and they swept this matchup the two times they played last year. They held the advantage on paper and on the court.
Yeah, exactly. An interconference matchup here. Not a lot of familiarity, but I wouldn't say they caught them off guard. There's a reason one team was in the playoffs and the other team was watching.
And a look at the starters for the Pistons. They've got Marc Gasol, Wilson Chandler out there with Taj Gibson. Then it's Green, and it's Westbrook in at point guard. The Los Angeles Clippers, they come into this one following a loss to Golden State.
Yeah, not a very inspired performance for them, particularly when they were defending. They just gave that hostile crowd plenty to cheer for.
Yeah, they allowed a lot of free runs to the hoop, a lot of open jump shots, and in the end, the opponent's shooting percentage was through the roof. You can't win if your defense isn't better than that.
Yeah, and Marc Gasol has become one of the league's most proficient post scorers. I mean, how about the footwork on that low block? He is a load down low.
Now it's sent it down to Doris Burke, who is able to catch up with Coach Doc Rivers.
We talked about their strategy on how to contain Russell Westbrook, and he told me that Russell's at his best in the open floor. To counteract that, they'll try to make sure they get back on defense in a hurry and limit his chances to get out in transition and start setting up his teammates or throwing down dunks. Neither is a good option for them.
Thanks again, Doris. And it's the Clippers with the ball, following the bucket by the Pistons. Gay drives in. Can't get it to go. Great D that time from Westbrook. It's tipped. Gay against Green. Crawford, no one around him. Los Angeles with another miss.
Boy, that's a warm-up jumper there. I mean, when you're a pro, you can't make excuses for missing that one.
That's good.
And the offense, I mean, 3 of 4, a solid start for this game.
For Los Angeles, they've gone 2 of 5 here, making 40% so far to start out the game. Another miss by Gay.
Major defensive lapse right there. I mean, he's not a player you can leave open for a jump shot. You've got to stay attached to him. They're lucky he couldn't punish them for it.
Ooh, that's as forceful a finish as you're ever going to see out of this guy.
Well, gee, it adds now to their lead in spectacular fashion.
And, you know, that lead's only going to grow if they're not prepared to defend a little more staunchly than that.
So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
And guys, you see how Rudy Gay just exploded last season in the second half. I mean, I think he felt at ease in George Karl's system. And I think that's one reason why you're starting to see just how good Rudy Gay can be.
For a long time, critics have gotten on Gay for his lack of efficiency, but he quieted some of those voices, Clark, last year with his play and stats.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, across the board, he made nice improvements, not only in his scoring, but also his ability to create shots for others.
And so he hits both. And no question, G.A., Rudy Gay is one of those guys who has always put up great numbers, but in 9 seasons he's been in the league, only one playoff. Only one. Count them, one. Back in 2012.
Yeah, but what if he were still in Memphis, though, Kevin? I mean, that's one of it. Sometimes it's not always your fault that you're not getting there.
True.
You got to play on a good enough team, and he hasn't up to this point. So, yeah, he's had his moments of inconsistency and will disappear at times. So there's some shared blame there as to why he hasn't been more consistent when it comes to the postseason.
Here's Westbrook following the score by Jamal Crawford. Chandler's shot, good.
It seems that every pass they make is leading to a score here. I mean, that's just exquisite ball movement.
And that's because the ball is looking for the best shot, and it's really paid off for them during the run.
And, you know, back to Rudy Gay, he's a tremendous all-around talent. Physically, instinctively, skill-wise, he's got it all. Except that consistent winning touch, that remains to be completed.
So timeout called here, the first for Los Angeles.
And thinking more about Rudy Gay, one key number I look at from last season, his assists. By far the most in his career, and that didn't translate into a ton of wins, but it very well could have been the next step toward getting those wins.
And Los Angeles will go for a different look here. Leonard, he's checked in for Gasol. Lance Thomas comes in for Dirk Nowitzki. Brandon Rush, he's checked in for Rudy Gay. And Ian Clark subbed in for Jamal Crawford. First quarter of play, we're about 3 minutes in. Thomas a screen. It's stolen by Bogut. It's 2-on-1. Here's Rose. Finished off the break. Rose has got his first basket of the night.
Every time they get scored on during this run, it's come from inside the paint.
Yeah, they have really owned the interior. You've got to collapse that defense and force them to beat you over the top.
They really can't allow him too many open looks like that. I mean, that's just inviting trouble.
Nice ball movement by Detroit. Here's Bogut. No good off the back of the rim. Clippers trail by 5. Wide open. Rebounded by Bogut.
When he's wide open like that, he'll rarely miss those.
3 seconds separate the shot clock and game clock. Oh, that's blocked. Now the Clippers moving it up. No good from Clark. Here is Livingston. And Baamute can't get it to go.
Excellent. Really solid job, actually, by the defense to get in his way as he was going up for that one.
And Dirk Nowitzki steadily climbing the all-time scoring rankings. We talked about the remarkable journey of his long and illustrious career.
When I first got here, you know, my first year was so tough that I didn't really know that I can make it in this league. You know, to be named with all these names is an unbelievable honor, and it's been a crazy ride.
Dirk has proven himself through the test of time. As tough as it may have been back in his rookie year, he overcame those obstacles to become this elite NBA player. Clark destined for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you know, people now talk about players being a Dirk Nowitzki type. And that's a type any team would like to have. One of the greatest power forwards in NBA history, for sure.
And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. And before we move on, what do you guys think about what we've seen so far from Detroit?
I just like the way they're getting out in the open floor, taking advantage of all those fast break chances here early on.
I agree with you, Greg. I mean, they can run, and they've done a good job filling the lanes in transition.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor. All fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. On the floor for Detroit, Taj Gibson is out there with Marc Gasol. And it's Green. Then there's Russell Westbrook. And it's Chandler in at the 3, the small forward.
You know, one of the unsung things about Danny Green is his team defense. I mean, he flies around that end of the court, and his instincts usually put him in the right position to make a play.
And around a minute gone here in the second quarter. Clark kicks to Gay. Goes up on the wing. Gasol throws it down with the quick putback jam.
Tell you what, they're going to have to do a better job of boxing this fella out than that.
No one between him and the hoop. You're right, Clark.
Yeah, and you don't want to be giving up, guys, put-back slams. That's not the kind of play that can build confidence.
And the Pistons decide to take their first timeout right here. So many people overlook Pau Gasol prior to last season seem to think that Clark, he was past his prime.
Well, he was a starter in the All-Star game and a huge reason the Bulls played as well as they did. It was a big season for him. A lot of GMs shaking their head for not going harder after him.
Detroit leading by 8.
You know, and with Pau Gasol, it was weird to think that the Lakers were just so ready to let him go and move on.
Now here's Westbrook. 5 points in the game. 4 on 3 as they bring it up. Here's Crawford. Somehow ignores the tight D and gets the way up. Crawford's got 6.
Just a great job of attacking on the break.
Yeah, you know, exploding to the basket like that, Greg, just as soon as that ball was going the other way, that's exactly how you want to do it.
And with the skill set that Pau has and the year he had, there's no telling how long he can play at a high level. Again, one of those guys that never been reliant on the athletic ability to have an impact.
Not to the surprise of anyone, really, but the Clippers last year were strong at home once again. They managed to go 30-11 at Staples Center.
Yeah, and Kevin, that makes 3 straight seasons for the Clippers of 30 or more wins at home.
Los Angeles calls timeout. In addition to going over the game plan and making whatever necessary adjustments have to be made, Greg, this timeout also the time for players to get rehydrated or hydrate for the first time with some Gatorade. Plenty of basketball still to be played here, and they have to get recharged.
That's a great point. Without proper hydration, a player can completely run out of gas down the stretch of a game, and that's something that none of these guys can afford to have happen. If you're going to battle all the way to the finish, you have got to be hydrated.
You know, the big thing for the Clippers is that they won some big games in Staples over tough opponents. I mean, also won 6 of their last 7 to secure the 3 seed in the West.
And you can count it. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it 3. It's going to be Barnes shooting. Jamal Crawford picks one up for the Clippers. Thomas comes in for Rudy Gay. And Barea subbed in for Ian Clark.
And one issue with the Clippers at home is that it didn't feel like they were at home. Blake Griffin said home court advantage is just not there for us. And this is on the heels of a loss where the crowd was cheering for the other team louder than the Clippers at times.
And stolen by Nowitzki. Here in the second quarter, we've played a little over 2.5 minutes now. Barea. Here's Gasol. And there's the bucket. Staying with it on the offensive glass, getting it done. Gasol's got 6 points.
Just lazy defense on the glass there.
Well, nobody boxed out. Nobody put a body on anybody else. Things like that not only drive the coach crazy, that stuff gets under my skin.
Now here's Crawford following the miss by Taj Gibson. And Nowitzki wide open. He fires. It's good. Great play set up by Barea.
He presents a defender with a serious challenge. Always.
Feeds it to Anderson. Barnes passes to Westbrook. Barnes dishes to Westbrook. And here's Green outside. And it's Gasol with the rebound. Clippers trail by 6. Crawford with the ball. Now Green defending. It's Crawford with the drive. Bounces high off the rim and drops. He's got 8. The Pistons have gotten a little under 50% of their second quarter shots to find the mark. 4 of 9 all told. And Gibson kicks to Green. Now 8 seconds separating the 2 clocks. And that one's good. Barnes.
How about the passing? They are moving the ball without any thought, without any individual agenda.
Yeah, and it's really fun to see that kind of unselfishness. Really hard not to appreciate all the assists they've racked up.
Here's Crawford, and it's the Clippers scoring again.
Once he gets inside like that, even an excellent defensive effort isn't enough.
The kick out to Westbrook, and the first half comes to a close. We've got a close game going on here. Pistons lead by 5. And a chance now to send you over to Doris Burke, standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Yes, Kevin, here with Doc Rivers. And Doc, so far in this game, do you feel like the team is struggling getting good looks?
I don't mind the shots. They're good shots for the most part. I would like extra passes every once in a while, but overall, our shots have been not bad. We got to get stops.
Coach, thank you so much. Back to you guys at the table.
Thanks so much, Doris, and we'll step away briefly, but get you right back in there for the start of the third quarter after this break.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here again with Kenny Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. We welcome you back to the 2K Sports Halftime Show. It was a closely contested first quarter for Detroit. Their largest deficit of the period was just 4 points. They were right there within shouting distance the entire time. The second quarter was dead even in terms of their scoring output from both teams, and they still find themselves in a good position at the half. Kenny, what's your take on Detroit so far?
Well, their playmakers were in top form tonight. They showed great court vision and great ball movement. That's why they had so many assists. It's much easier to defend guys who don't want to pass the basketball.
And over to Shaq. Now your take on the Clippers.
You know, two things went on in the first half. Yes, we saw good offense take advantage of mediocre defense, but we also saw a motivated team take advantage of a team that didn't want to hustle. They need an attitude adjustment.
Just about time for the third quarter to get underway, and we'll see you again at the Horn.
Well, both sides have assessed what they need to do over the break in halftime. We'll see now if one can pull out away here in the third. Jamal Crawford really making a difference here.
Yeah, he was in attack mode from the word go. Came out very aggressively in that first half.
Take a look at his shot chart. It looks like the ink spilled right at the rim. No reason for him to settle for anything less.
J.J. Barea is out there with Crawford. Then it's Pau Gasol. Then there's Nowitzki. And it's Gay in at the 3 slot. So that's the lineup on the floor for the Clippers.
Boy, for Jamal Crawford, guys, it's been a really good career. Not many guys can maintain his level of quickness after 15 years in the league. I mean, but last season, he finally started to show a little wear and tear.
Out to Chandler. From 17 feet out. Good, and the assist goes to Gasol. And that's now 7 points for Wilson Chandler. Clippers trail by 5. In the corner, it's Crawford. Gasol setting the pick for Crawford. Rebound, Detroit. They've led by as many as 11 points. The drive by Green. Nice D from Crawford. Clippers have gone 1 of 3 since starting the second half. Now the feed to Barea. Gets the three-pointer to fall. Barea's got his second bucket of the night.
Good display of physicality by Gasol to set that shot up.
And guys, what a spark plug J.J. Barea has been throughout his career. When he comes in the game, you can feel the lift. We saw a couple games against Houston in the playoffs. Saw it back in 2011 in the championship season for the Mavs.
That's a great point. I mean, he has an energizing effect on his teammates, the fans, and the announcers. I mean, he just brings so much spirit and hustle to the games. Very hard not to root for a guy like that.
Catching up on the changes for the Clippers. Myers Leonard, he's checked in for Gasol. Rush comes in for Jamal Crawford. And Ian Clark subbed in for J.J. Barea. And it's Rose penetrating. Bogut kicks to Gasol. And it's thrown down hard with both hands.
Yeah, how about the sharp steal and then run out? It looks like they're ready to put the hammer down.
Well, we've been waiting for one of these teams, Greg, to pull away. Maybe that'll be a springboard for them.
Could be. A dunk like that coming off a great defensive play has to build some momentum.
Leonard the pass to Gay. Back to Leonard. Rejected by Gasol. And we're just about 2 minutes into the second half now. And finished off by Rose.
And how about a little bit of showmanship there as he increases the lead?
Oh, I like that. That's got to be, though, a tough pill for the defense to swallow.
Well, he's a guy that you know can hurt you with his passing, and right there, he does some damage with his finishing, too.
Chandler goes in. Rose dishes to Chandler. Gasol kicks to Chandler. There's Rose with the three, and that's collected by Nowitzki.
For me, my favorite memory of Barea, his outstanding postseason in 2011. The Mavericks had to get through the Lakers and the Heat to win their first championship. And Barea broke down those defenses by screaming to the hoop every chance he got. Actually, he squirted to the hoop.
And Detroit has possession. They lead by 4. And after this one, they're home against Minnesota. That's the first game in a string of 3 straight at home. Bogut, that's good.
You got to love the big bucket in the paint in this sort of grinded-out physical game.
That's the kind of look they can continue to go with. Maybe that'll help them create some separation on the scoreboard.
Well, last season, the Pistons didn't reach the playoffs for the 6th consecutive season. They're making progress, but as we can all see, still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you know, they were spoiled for a while there. How about going to the playoffs for 1996 to 2009? So it's been a rough stretch here of late, but you get the feeling that the building blocks are in place for another push.
Los Angeles calls timeout.
And I bet most people forget that the Pistons did make the playoffs for 8 straight years before this current drought. It's been a long rebuild process for them recently, but I think they're making progress and moving in the right direction.
Thomas, he's checked in for Dirk Nowitzki. Then for the Pistons, Anderson comes in for Marc Gasol, and it's Barnes in for Wilson Chandler. .58 seconds left to play in the third. Here's Clark. He's covered by Rose. Gay, that's a two-pointer. Can't get it to go. And it's Detroit the other way. They've led by as many as 11 points.
And for the Pistons, they seem to have a direction and plan now that just wasn't the case before. It won't be easy to get back into the postseason, but I really feel like they are on the right path.
Los Angeles making a switch here. Borea's checked in. No good from Bogut.
Oh, tight defense being played right there. Got right up on him and forced the miss.
Textbook work. Close enough to bother the shot. Good challenge, but disciplined enough to avoid too much contact.
Rush from outside, and that is good.
I like his composure there under pressure as he was being double-teamed. Terrific pass.
Here's Anderson. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2.
And you don't ever want to get into the habit of letting the offense get to the rim.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, that's the message they were sending with that foul. Nothing easy inside.
So he comes up empty at the line.
Yeah, the shot clock's off. This could be the last possession of the quarter.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. That's exactly what they should have in mind here.
Here's Gasol. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2. Taj Gibson picks one up. The Clippers have had 2 chances at the line already, making them both.
Yeah, last season, around 71% of the free throws made. And you know what? That has to be a point of emphasis this year.
And those aren't the kind of numbers they can afford to repeat throughout this season.
It's still anybody's game as we've reached. Welcome back as we get rolling once more. The fourth quarter right ahead in what's been a very well-contested game. And Detroit Looking at who they've got. Wilson Chandler out there with Taj Gibson. Then there's Russell Westbrook. Then it's Marc Gasol. And it's Green in at the shooting guard position. Nowitzki for 3. Rebound by the Pistons. Green's got 4 rebounds now tonight. Westbrook gets to Gasol. Over in the corner, Green. It's hauled in by Los Angeles.
And you know what? That's one of those heat checks if he's taking shots like that.
Yeah, heat check or not, I don't care how hot he may or may not be, he's not making that one.
Nowitzki, good.
Defensively, they can't afford to back off of him that much. You don't want to be giving up easy threes, especially at this stage of the game.
From 11 feet away, that's good from Thomas on the assist by Crawford. And now it's a 3-point Clipper lead. And now we'll get perspective here on how the hustle game has been going for the Clippers.
Defensively, they played with a lot of energy, and the steals we've seen are a result of that aggressiveness.
Another part of their game that's made a difference tonight is all the second chance points they've been able to get.
And defensively, they are on their heels every time the ball comes inside.
Yeah, I think they've got to ramp up the aggressiveness, Greg. I mean, if they don't, things are just going to get worse from them.
A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, over the break, I listened in on Stan Van Gundy's huddle. He gave his guys the green light to keep firing from downtown, telling them, listen, I like the work you're doing out there. Keep finding those gaps on the perimeter. They're giving us open shots.
Rudy Gay's checked in for the Clippers. Clippers leading by 3. Barea kicks to Nowitzki. No good from outside.
A clear look at the hoop. He doesn't miss many of those.
And it's Gibson finishing it off.
Man, can you always depend on him or what to lead you to the right place with that pass? Money.
Gibson with the steal. Livingston passes to Gibson. Shoots from 12. And that's collected by Nowitzki. Nowitzki's got his 3rd rebound tonight. Offensive rebound, but they'll get another chance. Crawford drives in. No luck, they battled on the glass, but couldn't knock it down. Here's Gibson. Gibson with another miss. Los Angeles has gone 5 of 9 when they put up the 3-point shot tonight. Barea kicks to Gay. It's good. Great play set up by Barea. Barea's got 5 assists tonight.
Boy, they are passing the ball very crisply right now.
They really are, and their last 3 buckets have come by way of an assist.
Now here's Crawford, following the miss by Russell Westbrook. And they're on the break, moving it up. A pull-up. And a kind roll that time off the rim as that one falls. 9 points for Wilson Chandler.
A great assist. Nice work from Russell Westbrook.
Los Angeles calls timeout. They're up by 1. 1:14 left in the game. Daniel Green, he's checked in for Sean Livingston. .114 left to play here in the 4th. Gasol screen. Gay kicks to Barea. Here's Crawford. Green with the block. They retain possession. Chandler against Gay.